Hello there. Merry Christmas to you, and thanks a lot for joining us in this special edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Kemi Fola Adeyemo. Today's program focuses on the fuel crisis in Nigeria. We want to help you make sense of every bit of the story that's been developing for a while now. The question has been, are independent marketers hoarding fuel, or is there indeed no petrol in the country at all? The federal government is passing the blame and marketers are kicking. There's both confusion and hardship in the air. Who's telling the truth? Could this national shame, in the words of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, be avoidable? What's the true story here? This Christmas edition, we want to help prepare your mind for the days ahead and the realities to embrace. We'll help you cut through the noise and give you an opportunity to share your fuel crisis story. I'll be doing this alone. Babajide Kolade Otutoju is back from a 2-week vacation. Also, my colleague, Tolulope Ogunjobi, TVC News Energy correspondent, will also be here to talk about all this. He's been monitoring the story as well. So grab a chair. Let's hang out. The program starts now.
My name is Abdullahi Umar Ganduji, the governor of Kano State. I do watch journalists hang out. I don't miss it. I ask you, please don't miss it. Thank you.
Indeed, this current fuel scarcity has left huge scars on many cities. When Nigerians are supposed to be celebrating the Yuletide, now we see ourselves suffering the worst hardship in the year. From recession to unemployment to double-digit inflation, Nigeria spent almost half of the year in pains. But as the year hit the last quarter, the prices of food items began to go down, and this became great news for people who had lived under the searing effect of recession. As each day passed, they had a glimmer of hope that the Yuletide will usher in some freshness. But the story went against their expectation as the worst nightmare played out in the third week of this month of December. Long queues resurfaced at filling stations across the country. For 4 consecutive days, journalists Hangout urged the government to urgently intervene, predicting the pains that the indifference or seeming indifference would cause Nigerians. So today, so many families in the country now have a sad story to tell. The federal government says some independent oil marketers were behind this crisis, but the accused claims innocence. What's the true story? Let's begin our conversation. Of course, Babajide Kolade Otutoju, BKO, is back. Welcome back, boss.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
It's nice to...
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, same to you. It's nice.
Of course, Tolulope Ogunjobi is also here. Let's begin the conversation, though, now with Jide. Why now? I mean, the story is the same if it goes through every household. The nightmare, indeed, that's the word it's been. When one should be counting down to Christmas with so much excitement, we see people having to burn hours, manpower at fuel stations.
I think that...
All right, let me cut you. Apologies, please. There's something we need to take. It's really hot. It's a soundtrack now. This from the Department of Petroleum Resources that will help set the tone for our conversation.
We are always reluctant at this point to even shut any station at the slightest opportunity. But what we have to do is to make sure that the little that is available gets to the public. There is definitely a shortfall in supply. Our graphs are showing that the importation of PMS is going down.
The DPR there speaking on this current fuel situation is coming on the heels of the NNPC state-oil firm saying it's doing all it can, you know, to really make sure that all this gets to end within a matter of days now. But how did we get to this point, Jide?
I think the answer to that question has been provided by that government official. Danusa is the head of downstream, DPR, the Department of Petroleum Resources. They monitor the supply of petroleum products. They have the power to shut down filling stations that do not sell at the regulated price. They have the power to shut down filling stations that are involved in hoarding. Nigerians have been fed with so many lies, and I am allergic to lies. I've said it repeatedly on social media that the scarcity that we are going through is not the result of hoarding. Hoarding is only a product of this scarcity. I mean, let's look at it commonsensically. You can only hoard a product when you can see that it's not in abundant supply. So you heard Danusa say, look, there is definitely, words, there is definitely a shortfall in supply. He said that. Now, who is responsible for ensuring that there is supply? It is the NNPC. Not only that, Danusa also said that the graph that they have shows that importation of petrol has been going down. So people cannot now go to town, refuse to take responsibility for their planlessness, and now say, oh, it's because some marketers somewhere are hoarding. Marketers will hoard. It is in the nature of many Nigerians to cheat fellow Nigerians. I remember that in December, I mean, during the last fasting season, the governor of Sokoto State, after making money and foodstuffs available, was begging traders that in the name of Allah, they should not exploit people during this fasting season. I'm sure that fell on deaf ears. Those who are minded to exploit people will exploit people. You can stand on rooftops and be preaching no hoarding, no selling above the regulated price. Once there is scarcity, you cannot stop that. It is out of your hands. So what you need to do is ensure product supply. Once you do not have sufficient supply of petrol in the petroleum market, people will hoard. So you see, the truth is a constant thing. The truth is always bitter, whether it is told to a friend or to an enemy, whether it is told to a colleague or to a boss. The truth is always bitter. Our people don't like to be told the truth. The truth is that NNPC demonstrated planlessness and, in my view, a sense of irresponsibility by not ensuring that at the time of the year when Nigerians need petrol the most, that Nigerians have sufficient supply of the product. The Minister of State for Petroleum said a little over 2 weeks ago that they were having issues with supply, only for the GMD of the NNPC to lie to Nigerians that, oh, we have enough supply, but marketers are the ones hoarding. Look, now that we've told them, look, flood the market with petroleum products. Once you do that, nobody will hoard. You will see that within the next 1 week or two, this whole problem will end, and nobody will talk about people hoarding again, because hoarding only takes place when people can see that there is scarcity.
A point where I would like Tolulokwe to come in now. I want you to, begin with your own take. You've been on the road. You've been from petrol station to petrol station monitoring the situation. Yeah. This blame game now, everybody casting fingers at the other now. You tell us then what you've seen, especially with these fingers now being pointed at the state-oil firm NNPC. Why didn't it do the needful? We are seeing like Mekanti Baru saying at least 45 liters of petrol, million liters of petrol are going to be awash daily. But why couldn't we have done this earlier on?
Indeed, it was NNPC actually, there was a little bit of, they didn't plan well. Lack of planning. And when you don't plan, you fail. So they didn't plan to actually make products available for this time. Two problems here. At the point, getting towards the end of the year, there was this little bit of hike in the price of crude. Crude is doing about 63 to 65, even at the time we're doing like 65. Earlier, we were doing 30, 40, and landing cost of product was really reasonable at that time. But I think NNPC just ignored all that, and they were like almost a sole importer, doing almost 80 to 90%. Few major marketers were also involved, but not many of them, because as we speak today, some marketers are yet to be paid outstanding subsidies. Government claimed they were going to verify some of them to pay them, but up till now, they've not been verified. NNPC lacks storage facilities. That is one thing they really need to work on now. Most of these private guys they are using, they have their own business too, they have their own companies they have to sort out. So they have limited trucks, they will also even give to NNPC stations. So the planning was faulty. And according to research too, this is the winter season. And I think they say demand for crude for products too is always on the high side outside the country. So refining and bringing back products here at times could be slow because they also have to meet up their own demands there. Don't forget we don't have functional refineries. So that's another problem the NNPC, maybe they didn't look at all of this because I don't know why this would have happened.
What role could the marketers have played if it were to be, a really, really perfect city? Yes.
No, the marketers would have been able to bring products, but they will claim they will get subsidy because they will claim that at the end of, not that they will claim with the figures of what we are seeing now, the template, the landing cost is high. So marketers will want to do, they are businessmen. They are there to make gain.
Although I think even the GMD has now confirmed that the landing cost is actually 171.
You're right, he did.
171. So which marketer will bring product in at a landing cost of 171 and you expect them to go and sell at 145?
But Baru is also saying that the average marketer already has some considerable profit. They don't sell to them at that amount. They give them already a subsidized amount, less than 145 in his words.
That is why we are saying that you need to flood the market with products. If the products are available, some people will not get involved in sharp practices selling above X depot price. Depot price is 133.32 kobo. So that's the price. But some private depots don't sell at that rate. I was at the police station today. The man brought the product to his station at 180. He told us. He was selling at 200.
That couldn't have been NNPC.
No, I think he bought from a private marketer.
Okay.
So, but he refused to mention the name. So they sealed the station. They sold the fuel for free.
Wow.
Yes, today, this afternoon, somewhere around Ujudubega area. So it's because there was an issue, there was a dislocation with supply. That's why everybody took advantage of this. Okay. And so that's the problem. With the efforts of DPR going around monitoring, we went to many places, so many places didn't have products. We got to a point that we were now dipping to check if they were even going above the decks. There's this desktop level. There's a level that the tanks, you must leave in the tank, that the pumps won't be able to, the nozzles won't be able to pump it out. DPR went to the point of saying if you have, maybe you're supposed to make 3,000 and you're having 3,500, they'll tell you sell 500. So that clearly you know that this product is not available.
No product.
It's just now that we are, we can just say, well, it's getting
all right,
better.
that's on the now the DPR and all other related agencies working. NNPC also saying it's doing its bit now. We're also seeing the vice president being busy since yesterday. Yes. On a serious,
it's an embarrassment
indeed,
to everyone.
On a serious damage control bid. But I want to know how that plays out before you now meeting with the fuel depot owners. That was today, and then yesterday going out to parts of Lagos. Now, how do you assess this move?
I am impressed with the efforts of the vice president and other people. This is what we told them to do, including some of the funny people who are abusing people on Facebook, lying that, oh, it is marketers, oh, it is hoarding. We told them, move out, ensure product availability. Because this problem didn't start today. I've had people, my own concern is that for President Buhari has to be careful. There's nothing that makes a government lose its goodwill like fuel crisis. There's nothing like that. He needs to know, no matter how popular he is in Nigeria today, if he continues to let Nigerians suffer from fuel crisis, the goodwill that he has will be eroded in no time. I'm saying this as a historian and as somebody, as a Nigerian who can analyze how Nigerians behave. Goodluck Jonathan came in, he was very popular. He won an election by a landslide. And then by January 2012, he frittered all the goodwill that he had. So that is why we are warning the president. And when people say that, oh, since this government came in, there had not been fuel scarcity, this is just the first one, it's a lie from the pit of hell. Because in March 2016, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu was forced to attack the Minister of State for Petroleum, Kachiku, because Kachiku could not solve the problem of fuel scarcity for months under this administration. Kachiku could not solve it for months. And Asiwaju was forced to come out. And Kachiku was now saying, look, I'm not a magician. I mean, that was an insult to Nigerians. And he had to be told. That problem was solved later on. So under this administration, we've had two serious fuel crises.
That led to this current 143 to 5.
Something similar to this.
All right, let's take a breather.
Let's
take a breather at this point now. Apologies now. We'll take this much-needed breather and return. Don't forget, we're still waiting to hear from you to share your experience of this latest fuel crisis. Stay with us on Journalist Hangout.
My name is Abdullahi Umar Ganduji, the governor of Kano State. I do watch journalists hang out. I don't miss it. I ask you, please don't miss it. Thank you.
Thank you once again for joining us on Journalist Hangout. Christmas edition today is all about this fuel crisis. How did we get here? How can we, nip this in the bud permanently? Jide and Tulua, of course, still here with us on the show. But then let's look at all the conspiracy theories that have purportedly been coming from Ipman and from every other quarters. Now the government is even talking about it. Will there be an increase or not? The government is saying there will not be.
You see, Ipman, government, the NNPC, and even the major marketers, they can't ignore Ipman. Ipman are the Independent Marketers, Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. They own most of these filling stations at the nooks and crannies of the states. Where you go to, when you're traveling out of the state, out of Lagos, maybe. They have their filling stations. Those filling stations that are not the mobiles of this world, not the Wandos, the Totals, those funny names you see. And most times they have products because they are in the internals and all of them. They've come out to complain earlier. That was earlier this month that they were going to go. And it was immediately after their threat, all this problem started because the major marketers pulled out from importing. The independent marketers too said, well, we don't have products. For a station that or for like a locality that receives 80 trucks, they were getting 6 trucks.
So how do you share that?
At this time of the year.
How do you share?
Yeah, this December, during this crisis.
So why wouldn't they be hoarding?
No, the point is, will it even be enough?
Will
it even be enough for you and I?
On a normal day.
Even if they chose to sell it,
exactly.
will it be enough for you and I?
And what's the justification for that kind of reduction?
That was when the supply hiccups.
The supply came down.
Supply hiccups came down.
Look at, let me even explain how planless this NNPC is. The GMD will come out and say, oh, ideally, Nigerians consume about 30 million liters a day. You should expand. You wanted to sustain that template, that consumption template. It shows that you don't plan. You are wired not to plan. Once it's December, the level of consumption of petrol goes up.
Naturally.
Most people go on vacation in December. Right. They are at home, they want to watch TV because in any case, electricity supply is hardly there.
They power their
own. And many people also go home. So if I were Mai Kanti Baru, I would expect that at this time, will push out at least 60 million per day or 80 million. That is the only way to take care of that. You wanted to continue to push out 30 million at a time when people consume so much. That's why we have this problem. And then importation, just as that man said, Ndanusa of DPR said, importation came down. So once importation came down and we rely so much on imported refined fuel, there's no way we won't be in trouble.
We can't even ignore Ndanusa right now, because for crying out loud, he's even from the government.
Of course, they are the ones who monitor the depots.
Saying that. But now,
what he said was after they monitored the depots, you were with him.
Yeah.
These guys were going around.
Okay. Let's bring in Mike Osatuyi now. He's the national coordinator of IPMA, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria. Thanks again for joining us today, and Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
All right. Mekanti Baru, the GMD NNPC has been saying, you know, there is enough to go around now. Stop the panic buying, stop the hoarding. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, but
Keep talking. Keep talking.
What do you have to say about that?
yeah, but the issue on hand now is that there's no way to go around to my members right now. And like in Ibadan Depot, that for the past 5 days, there's no loading in Ibadan Depot. And like in Ibadan Depot, that for the past 5 days, there's no loading in Ibadan Depot.
Carry on.
Just
Ignore the delay. Ignore the delay
Just
at this
keep
point
talking.
now.
Don't.
There's some echo. Ignore that. Just carry on.
Yeah, but there's
All right, we'll try to reconnect with Mike Osatuyi. In the meantime, if you can hear us, once again, ignore the echo when you are back online with us, and let's just try and have a productive chat. All right, back to Jide in the studio now. Still, Osatuyi, at least from that first line that we picked now, he is still insisting that he doesn't have, the products are not enough to go around his members nationwide.
I wish we can go back to him, and I hope we work hard.
We'll definitely work on that.
Because they are the ones, they've received a lot of stick. Yes, some of their members have been hoarding in a very responsible manner, no doubt about that. But the problem is the product availability is an issue.
Michael Osatuyi is back. All right. So you said there's still not enough to go around all IPMAN members nationwide. Tell us more.
Yeah, the point is that there's improved loading in our depot, to our members in our depot in Ejibo Depot in Lagos. But there's no loading in the Ibadan Depot. And right now, Mosimi is loading very well, but they are principally loading the NNPC stations. And they are loading to Lagos and Abuja. But so far, the report I have from my members is that there's not enough fuel for now. But as GMD has promised that more cargo will be coming in, we hope that maybe in the next few days there will be improved loading to my members.
NNP
right now, there's not enough. But the bottom line is that the private importers, they are back out of the importation. And for the product to be enough, government has to intervene through special forex allocation, which is below 250 naira to $1. That's the only way they can sell at 145. As you heard that GMD said that pump price will be about 186 if we are going by this forex rate and the increase in crude price. But if government do a kind of special intervention on forex to private importers, then we are going to get out of the crisis. Because right now, the government is subsidizing about 1 billion per day. 1 billion naira per day on subsidy now. So we are back to the subsidy regime, but it's only the government through an NPC that can warehouse subsidy right now. No any individual can do it. So, CBN, NPC government to come to the table and allocate special forex.
Special forex.
Yes,
you say. Let me also ask. Mr. Osatuyi. Mekanti Baru is also saying, in response to Ipman's earlier demand for an increase in the pump price now, Mekanti is saying you are given this PMS at the rate of 133.28. In other words, you should have enough profit from there. This in reaction to perhaps your other demand now for a flexible forex regime now, where you can also get to partner in this importation. How do you react to this profit that Ipman is already getting?
You know, for about 2, 3, 4 months ago, we don't have this kind of experience. Yeah, that was when private importers and government participated fully in the importation. But when you have few products, then there's going to be problem. So the issue we are talking is not a matter of getting it at official price. The issue is that it is not enough. When you are giving, like last week, they are giving my members 8 trucks in Edigbo, 9 trucks in Ibadan. When you have 500 marketers, so how will they share it? It's a question of demand and supply. Right? So government has to come in, has to sit down with marketers, CBN has to come in and give forex at special price. If we are doing, because right now, the 305 they have enough facilities. Before, NIPCO, Fulawiyo, and MRS used to service my members. But for the past 4 or 5 months now, they have shut down throughput with MRS. They can revive it. And they have to supply also to Fulawiyo, to NIPCO, so that they can service my members. These are facilities that can load thousands of trucks in a day.
Okay, Michael Osatuyi, thanks a lot for all this you've revealed to us. Michael Osatuyi there, National Coordinator of Ipman. All right, we'll get you more on this now. Of course, it's still Journalist Hangout, and we continue after this break. Please stay with us. Thank you very much for joining us again on Journalist Hangout. Don't forget, any moment from now, the phone lines will be open to enable you participate in this very special edition where you get to share your fuel crisis experience. How did you meander out of it? Did you get to pay 400 naira per liter on the black market, of course? But then, startling revelations from Michael Osatuyi, Ipman's National Coordinator, and we want to dissect this now. Chief of which is the 1 billion naira per day subsidy which the federal government is supposedly paid. Yes. How can that be sustained?
So, you see, about 3 weeks ago, I read a story in the Vanguard talking about the fact that we've returned to the subsidy era. The difference is that we are not paying subsidy to individuals now, but the NNPC is bringing in products and selling to Nigerians at a highly subsidized rate.
Highly subsidized.
Highly subsidized rate. As at that time, from that story, they were talking about subsidy of about 800 million a day. But he is telling us now that it's around 1 billion a day. Because let's face it, we are always happy when the price of petroleum goes up, I mean the price of crude oil goes up in the international market.
Like we are recording now.
But, but that always comes at a huge cost to us as a country because we import refined petrol. First of all, there is this aberration about Nigeria, which is a country that produces so much crude oil, yet it continues to import refined petrol. We've been unable to build new refineries. Just 2 years ago, Saudi Arabia added a new refinery. We can't build a refinery. Successive governments can't build refineries. We are waiting for Dangote, an individual. We are putting the fate of our entire country on an individual. When you listen to Kachikwi, we say, oh, fuel crisis will end in 2019. He's been saying that if you Google, you see him. He said that repeatedly because he has his eyes on Dangote's refinery that will produce 650 million barrels a day. That is what he has in mind. That, oh, with that, we'll be able to solve the problem of importing, you know,
refined fuel.
Yes, that what we need, what Nigerians need, they will be able to at least Dangote will be able to provide all that we need. But it is wrong. If just one state in America can have up to 17 refineries, why haven't we been able to add to the refineries that we have? And those refineries, every time so much money is appropriated for turnaround maintenance, a lot of it gets stolen. They deliberately will bring in people who do not have the requisite knowledge to carry out the turnaround maintenance. And at the end of the day, shortly after that turnaround maintenance, the refinery will need a fresh turnaround maintenance. I always give the example of what happened, I think, in 1993, when instead of bringing Chiyoda that built the refinery in Kaduna, we went and brought DBN from France. And DBN did the turnaround maintenance. Within months, it all came down again. And we started looking for money to do a fresh turnaround maintenance. So you will ask yourself, what is wrong with us? Are we cursed as a people? Why are we behaving like this? Why is it difficult for a country as big as Nigeria to build refineries? We've even talked, this administration has spoken at length about modular refineries that are easy and quicker to build. We've not seen anything. We've not seen anything.
All right, our first caller, Tolulokwe, I'll come to you in a bit, but let's accommodate our very first caller, Isaac from Taraba State. Merry Christmas, bro. Hello, Isaac, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Carry on, please.
I want to contribute a little.
Hello, Isaac. All right, perhaps we'll try to reconnect. So sorry, Isaac. Tolu.
Yeah, I just wanted to say
on this
something
look,
with
on
regards
this,
to that refinery.
even it's also coming at a time when Mekanti, it's also being revealed, you know, that interestingly, Kaduna and Port Harcourt
That's what I'm saying.
were
We keep
actually
getting these figures.
as
Where are
at
they,
today.
Where's the production? Where are they lifting it to? We keep hearing millions of liters from Kaduna, millions of liters from some of these refineries that are working to a certain percentage. But we're not seeing this product because at least they should be able to address
and help us mitigate this problem.
Exactly.
Because we still get trucks from here to go and bridge.
According to NNPC,
From
61 million liters from the two refineries. So your question is quite apt.
Yes. Where are they bridging?
If we believe that
we are still moving trucks from here to bridge Meduguri, to bridge Suleja, to bridge Sokoto. I don't know. It's not so even sustainable. This move of coming to load, there's a
everybody comes to Lagos to come and
with
load.
the distribution chain.
Let's pause, gentlemen. Ruben from Bochi, Merry Christmas to you. Please join the conversation.
Hello.
Hello, Merry Christmas. Carry on, please.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Ruben from Bochi State.
You're welcome. Carry on, please.
I want to contribute about the fuel scarcity issue which is on ground now. So there is a serious problem in this country which we never understood because, you know, this government is not trying at all because there are people that are supposed to say the truth and they fail to tell this government the truth about governance. They show incompetence. If people try to raise alarm, the government will say people are going against them. Then they will decide to go against innocent people that didn't even, you know, have any hand in what is happening negatively in the country. So at least we should let them know that they are just displaying incompetence in this government. If it is the past administration, I believe many voices will have, you know, the same.
All right. All right, Ruben, thank you very much for, telling us the situation in Bauchi at this time now. Tolu, so Jude had also said we need much more than one Dangote now, to help in this refinery deficit.
The Dangote refinery, and I don't see, the GMD has also come out to say, yes, I totally agree that the turnaround maintenance has just been source, just siphon money. People have made money from that because nothing has been turned around. If we really turn around,
we don't see the evidence.
Why shouldn't our refineries be functional at this time? So I think the issue of private guys coming in, I still think that's one way to go with regards to our refineries.
Building new or perhaps helping in revamping the existing ones?
Well, according to petroleum engineers and some experts, they've talked about the long term. It takes a long term to look at the Dangote thing now. We've been on it. Thank God for the likes of CBN and the federal government that is really giving him money, pumping funds into it to make things work. It's not really, it's capital intensive. So I believe that those refineries, with the private guys coming in, putting their money into it, I think they will definitely they will definitely want to make profit. So they'll make it work.
I actually made a mistake with the Dangote refinery, 650,000 barrels.
Not even okay, so not up to millions, like
50,000 barrels.
When you now convert to liters,
we will definitely enter millions, which is huge enough.
It is. So there's this, I think, the public-private partnership. I know the minister, there was a time he went to India, he went to China, he raised some funds, with regards to working on all of this. I think let the private guys take over this and let's start refining here. We are losing value. We're not even adding value to what we do. We sell it. And there's this crude swap too. We had problems with it too lately because there's some people that will give crude and they give us refined products. How long do we run this as a country? I don't think it's sustainable.
Let's still, focus on this present situation that we are in. While we hope that by the time we hit the roads, the queues won't be as long as we met them when coming into the in at this time now. But then, DPR, you've been covering the activities, sealing stations, even here in Lagos, like you said, even coming down hard. But we didn't hear Michael Sati, we didn't get to that point where he had to address it. Is it a case of them being helpless or from the atrocities, quote and unquote, excesses of members, independent marketers, as in what's to stop them? Really now, when do we get to see sanctions?
No, people are being sanctioned.
From within IPMAN, perhaps?
Yes, I expect IPMAN to sanction its members. But the truth is, any business that has a huge profit margin, Nigerians will kill to get involved in it. So the DPR can go around shutting filling stations up and down. It won't stop people hoarding because they know that when they get away with it, they will make tons of cash. So they won't stop. In any case, some of those DPR guys are often compromised. You will see them, they will lock a filling station today, overnight they will open it. They will open that same filling station. So the truth is, we are not even interested in them shutting filling stations because that's not the solution. Okay. The solution is let the product be available. As Oshatui said, when you give 9 trucks to 500 marketers, how do they share it?
How do they share? Caller from Kwara State. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. Hello, caller.
Yeah?
You're live. Please carry on.
I'm with you.
What's the experience like for you in Kwara?
There's no fire in Kwara State.
All right. So how have you been getting by?
All right, there's no fire in Kwara State. People are selling fuel per liter, 500 naira per liter in a lot.
All right.
Before the election, SBC, Buhari administration promising us they will be selling fuel for us, 60 naira per liter. Now, we are buying fuel, 500 naira per liter. Can you imagine? Imagine. Which is wrong.
Wow. So sorry about that.
I talked about this
caller. All right, thank you for sharing that.
And somebody came to say that it wasn't true that they were not buying fuel at 500. I said some were buying even as more than this.
Yes.
Our guys that came back from Imo at filling stations, they bought close to 300 naira per liter. No queue.
I won't even be surprised because I know
it's always been like that in the East.
Exactly. It's
always been like that in the East.
But let's just take a break. Let's take another break and return in a bit. Please stay with us. Thank you very much for joining us again on Journalists Hangout as we dissect this fuel crisis, this latest episode, and hopefully we don't get to, well, discuss another one, or Nigerians don't have to be subjected to another spate of hardship and suffering. All right, well, we've heard from a caller in Kwara State who says it's still harsh as at this point now. There seems to be an issue. If Lagos seems to be having it good, you know, after such a rough ordeal, circulation of this product now is another issue.
It will take some time. It will take some time. By the time we solve the problem here, in other parts of Nigeria, they will need 1 week, 2 weeks before things normalize over there, because usually the volume of trucks pumped into Lagos is usually higher than any part of the country, you know. So the truth is the consumption rate is higher here because of the population. So and Lagos is closer to the source of the petrol itself, which is the port here. So once we begin to solve the problem here, then the other parts of the country, you can be sure that with time, things will normalize, but it will take a while.
That brings us back to the distribution channel.
Ademola, okay, Ademola Ogumade is an independent marketer. Thank you very much for joining us at this time on Journalists Hangout. Of course, Michael Satui of Ipman has spoken on giving his own take on this persistent crisis. What do you have to say about this latest episode? There's been accusations at independent marketers at your, just like yourself now, who government says have been hoarding, have been taking too much profit at the leaving the masses to suffer.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Wale Ogumade, an independent marketer, not Ademola. Apologies.
Please carry on, Mr. Ogumade.
Okay, let me quickly thank Mr. Otitoloju and other co-travelers there on this laudable program, Journalists Hangout. I believe the only way out of this successive fuel scarcity in Nigeria is for the government to have the courage, the political will to deregulate the market without wasting time. Ab initio, NNPC is the house of corruption, from the top to the last man in the gate. They are civil servants, just exchanging baton from one government to the other. When this administration came on board, in which we all fought for, a barrel of crude oil at that time is selling at the rate of $40 per barrel. And they were all celebrating that no subsidy at that time, without looking into the reasons, circumstances surrounding it, that why they are not paying subsidy at that time. Today, the same barrel of petrol of the crude oil is selling at the rate of $65. Do you need any soothsayer to tell you this, that the price of a landed refined oil will go up? So the major challenge is still NNPC. NNPC deliberately refuses to supply the independent marketers. They were sharing the allocation that meant for the entire country between the major marketer and NNPC staff. Check what I'm saying out. Visit Mosimi, visit Ejibo. They can only give to those who are in the executive, not the team supporter, not the team marketers across the country. So this scarcity that you are seeing today, for instance, in Ondo State and Adjon State, the independent marketer there is like 90%, while the major marketers are just 10% that own the filling station within that environment, in compared to Lagos or Abuja. So as an independent marketer, before you can get a lifting right, you need to spend millions, and that does not guarantee you of getting a product at the end of the day. So these are the problems. The issue of hoarding or no hoarding is not there.
Okay, but Mekanti Barrow, let me come in, please. Mekanti Barrow has said, well, there's now going to be, to expedite the supply nationwide, there's now going to be waivers for independent marketers, none of these charges at the ports and so on, and all that to mitigate all the problems that independent marketers like yourself, have already mentioned. From the time this announcement was made, has there been any change in what you're hearing, what you're seeing, and what you're hearing from your colleagues?
I am a player in my own little way. I have been doing this business now for over a decade. I understand what I'm talking about. They are only deceiving Nigeria. A federal government should try to more courage by deregulating the system. Look at what happened in the issue of diesel today, going to gas. Look at what happened there. If you like, fix your price. Some will be selling at the rate of 190, while others will be selling at the rate of 200. That is a diesel. It's something called for gas. You can just imagine today. Those people that play downstream, they are the one playing upstream now. Buy station around. You can imagine filling stations before a lot of people have withdrawn from the system now. They have been discouraged, frustrated because once they buy a product, for example, you are talking of Lagos, Abuja. What of other states? Nigerians are staying in all those states, and a landed cost of fuel, so an average filling station in other states cost nothing less than 143, 144 when there was fuel. So you will be left with maybe 2 naira or 1 naira in a business of almost 5 million naira. How many people can do that? And that is the reason why when this issue of fuel scarcity came, a lot of filling stations has already dried up because nobody has interest again. As I'm talking to you, I have withdrawn. I have filling stations. But I don't do it again because if you borrowed money from the bank and you pay to the system of NNPC, you won't get product at the end of the day. They didn't care about you.
All right.
So that's the truth of the matter.
Mr. Ogumade, thank you very much. Wale Ogumade there, an independent marketer, speaking with us on TVC News on this fuel subsidy, fuel crisis. I'm afraid we've run out of time, but perhaps a quick word from you. We're hearing him say the only solution to this is further deregulation by the government. Does that completely exonerate the independent marketers?
Well, one way or the other, we still have to deregulate the downstream sector. If we still focus on the Dangote refinery or whatever we still look like, we need to liberalize that sector, open it up, let people come in, let players come in, do business. And by the time, yes, the fear is the price increase. Everybody believes that it could go to 500, it could go to 400, but it will come down after some time because there'll be competition. And once there's competition, everybody, you buy at whatever price that pleases you. If you know this station is selling at this amount, you go there. But even outside Nigeria, that's the way it is. Fuel is not sold the same amount of filling stations. No. So we need to go that way if that's what's going to take us out of this. We can't continue going round and round in the circle. It doesn't work that way. All
right. Now, all this sharp practice here and there now with them now saying the federal government is the one deceiving Nigerians. Does this completely exonerate the independent marketers, Jide?
No, he can heap as much blame as he wants on the federal government. But we know that marketers are involved in sharp practices. They are Nigerians. As I said earlier, any opportunity for Nigerians to cheat fellow Nigerians, they jump at it. So it's unfortunate that it's the supply disequilibrium that has created an opportunity for rogue elements within amongst the marketers to fleece fellow Nigerians. But it doesn't absorb the government of blame. The government, NNPC especially, has demonstrated so much planlessness. And that is why we are in the mess that we found ourselves. I think it is clear now that, look, when you give 9 trucks to 500 marketers, they have, those marketers, or even you, the NNPC, you must actually be Aladdin to devise a way to share nine trucks to 500 people.
But what is even baffling at this point now is, you know, the obvious distrust now from all these critical stakeholders who should be team players in the system. Federal government, Ipman, Pengasan.
Funds involved
and
in this business is not something you can joke with. This is oil business. We're talking about oil money here. Some people were making billions of dollars from subsidy coming in with empty trucks, empty vessels.
Diverting the vessels to,
those people are not happy.
To other countries.
And this is something that we still haven't got seen
sanity
or
with this government the way is going about trying to address all of these shortfalls, all of these sharp practices, you know. So it's big business. So we should expect all of this.
Gentlemen, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Tolulope Ogunjobe, it's been so great having, being with you on this episode of Journalist Hangout. Thank you very much. And thank you too for being with us. Hopefully we get to, we take this further tomorrow when, of course, we meet again. Don't forget you can watch a repeat broadcast of this program much later, 11 p.m. on TVC Nigeria. Well, thank you very much for joining us once again today. I can't get enough of saying Merry Christmas to you in spite of all that we get to see out there. I am Kemi Fola Adeyemo. Bye for now and God bless Nigeria.